Okay, Jim. Let's go. Let's go.
Good morning, all you wonderful people. I think that it really is summer. I would like to welcome anyone who's here for the first time this morning. We're so glad that you've joined us. At the back of the sanctuary, there is a table with some information for you. And if you give us your email, we will keep in touch with you, but we will not harass you just about events that are happening here and that kind of thing. And please join us for coffee and tea and goodies after the service so that we can get acquainted with you. Do we have any announcements today? Yes.
Get your Father's Day pictures in to Hilda as soon as possible so she can do the slide presentation for next week. June the 16th. Okay, so that's going to be our town hall meeting after the service with a potluck. And it's going to be a pretty important town hall meeting, so anybody, everybody that's a member or thinks they want to become a member, or anybody who just wants to see what we do as far as organizing this spiritual community, come on out to the meeting. But we are going to be discussing some pretty important issues, so please try to attend. A big thank you to the people up there on board. I want you to notice the top three. Not only worked their butt off all day Monday putting in floor, but showed up again Saturday to do the cleanup. Thanks, guys. Yeah, we had a good turnout for the flooring install, and I hope you're all pretty happy with the outcome. I know it looks like crap with our paint scheme, but we'll get around to that, finishing off the decorating pretty soon. My name's not there, I'm just a supervisor, I don't do any work. And there's one other person I really want to thank over and over again, is Mary Bob, who keeps the grounds, the garden looking so beautiful. She's here 2 or 3 times a week, always pulling weeds, watering, and taking care of the plants. So thank you, thank you, thank you, Mary. Okay, for those who maybe didn't open the e-blast about this, our dinner dance was canceled due to lack of participation. You know, just bad timing for a lot of people, so we'll have another one in the fall and give you a chance to try out the new dance floor again. And I think that's it, isn't it?
And for anyone who's here for the first time, you should see us party. We are the best dancers in the city. We really are. So I'd like you now to share with me in speaking our vision and mission. So first of all, our vision. A world powerfully transformed through the growing movement of shared spiritual awakening. And our mission. We are a loving, inclusive community, co-creating with spirit to transform lives. And now I believe we have a song. Yes?
We're doing this. There's a little quick story about this. Is Grace here? I don't think Grace is here today. Is she? Grace Tom? No. We did this a few weeks ago, and Grace came to me afterwards and said, I just want to tell you that that song has a very special meaning for me. That when I was a little girl up in the prairies, after church, every Saturday, or after Sunday rather, after church we'd drive home and we'd have the radio on, and there was a local radio station with a hymn sing program. And my dad would call up almost every week and ask them to play this song. And she said, I really appreciate you doing it. So we're doing it again, but unfortunately Grace isn't here. That's okay, we can all sing and have some fun with it too. The dark and the troubled side of life, the bright and sunny side too. Though we meet with darkness and bright, the sunny side may also view. I'm not sure now. Keep on the sunny side, always on the sunny side. Keep on the sunny side of life. It will help us every day. It will brighten all the way. If we keep on the sunny side of life. Storm is beautiful today. It wants that we cherish so dear. Storm will time pass away. The sun again will shine bright and clear. Keep on the sunny side, always on the sunny side. Keep on the sunny side of life. It will help us every day. It will brighten all the way. If we keep on the sunny side of life. The street with the song of hope each day. More than we cloudy okay. Trust in our spirit always. Keep us in God's tender care. Keep on the sunny side, always on the sunny side. Keep on the sunny side of life. It will help us every day. It will brighten all the way. If we keep on the sunny side of life. If we keep on the sunny side of life.
Unity's foundation is affirmative prayer. If you wish prayer for someone else or for yourself, you are invited to use our prayer box you see in front of you and put a first name only on a piece of paper and place it in the box. No need to explain the situation, as God is all-knowing. It will be prayed over here at Unity by our prayer angels for 30 days and then sent on to Silent Unity for additional prayer. Remember, 24 hours a day, You can call 1-800-NOW-PRAY to reach silent unity, where people have been praying with and for people for over 130 years. For private one-on-one prayer, we normally have a prayer chaplain available to pray with you after service. But for today, our prayer chaplains are away attending their annual chaplain training. But be sure, there will be one available here next week. We welcome our speaker, Sheila, now to lead us in prayer.
So I invite you just to settle into your chair, and settle into your heart. Take a moment to become silent, to feel into the one power, one presence, of which you are a powerful part. Take a moment to tap into that wonderful sense of love. Feel into it. Because it's from here, it's from this knowing the truth of your being, knowing the one power and one presence, that we can reach out and send our love to other places, other people, other beings, other things. And today we hold in heart and mind Unity Worldwide Ministries, of which this community is a part. We celebrate them and we support them as they support us. We are part of that greater whole. We hold them in love and send them strength, peace, whatever it is they're needing. We hold in heart and mind, as with all other Unity churches in Canada this month, Unity Vancouver and Unity London. We know that Spirit is working through both of these communities. And yes, we're praying for ourselves. Who better to pray for? We're the ones that can make the changes here. And we feel the prayers of other unities supporting us. We hold in heart and mind all the prayers of need, all the prayers of celebration in the prayer box. Spirit knows the hearts of every request there, and we know that those prayers are heard and answered. We affirm that in our hearts. We bless the new flooring, that understanding, which is supporting us. New perspective. We bless the prayer chaplains and their facilitators as they train. We honor and give thanks for their commitment to their communities, for our community. We love them, we support them, we bless them. And for all of our own prayer concerns and celebrations, the gratitude that we feel, we surrender these prayers into the divine, knowing that they are heard and answered. The power of prayer is that much greater when done as one mind. Wherever two or more are gathered, there too is the Christ mind. We acknowledge this exponential power in this room as we hold all of these prayers in heart. We give thanks for this opportunity. We give thanks for it all. Amen.
And now for our message from the Daily Word, brought to you by Silent Unity. I live each day in celebration for the sacred gift of life. I give thanks that I am spiritually centered so that whatever I do, I am consciously aware of God. Every part of my mind, body, and spirit joins in the celebration of wonder. Divine life flows through me now in unlimited measure. This life renews, vitalizes, restores, and perfects me. I am wholly and vibrantly alive, aglow with pure dynamic life. I greet the day with eager anticipation. God's presence ensures that the fantastic and unexpected are a normal part of my being, and I am ever evolving through the gifts of the Spirit. Each moment is an opportunity to strengthen my faith, courage, joy, wisdom, happiness, and love. I live each day in celebration for this precious gift of life. In Psalm 16, verse 11, you show me the path of life, and in your presence there is fullness of joy. In your right hand are pleasures forevermore. Let's sing our song.
Our theme this month is at Unity is letting go, and here's a song about what happens when we learn how to do that.
It's my pleasure today to introduce Sheila Mayer to you. She has been committed to spiritual growth and community her whole life. While her spiritual journey has been eclectic, it found focus when she came home to Unity 30 years ago. Unity provided many service opportunities that led to Sheila becoming a licensed Unity teacher. Please give a warm welcome from our Unity to Sheila.
Thank you so much, and good morning. Sawubona. And Sawubona is a Zulu greeting, which means I see you. And it's not just I see you physically, it's I see you as in the Christ within me beholds the Christ within you. That which allows my eyes to see is looking back at me through thee. Which means that we've come together to co-create these next few moments together. And I trust and hope, my intention is that we will co-create them to be rich and meaningful for all of us. So I thank you for that in advance. And this morning's topic is holding on to letting go, with thanks to Google Images. I didn't make most of these, they're all ones that have been gifted onto the internet. So that letting go, why letting go? And there's letting go for the whole month, and why? Because it is so important. It is probably one of the single biggest pieces to the spiritual journey. And why is that? It's because there is only one wholeness. First unity principle, one power, one presence, God the good, omnipotent, omniscient. So if it's all good, anything else is an opportunity to let go or be transformed back to that wholeness. So letting go is a big piece. And we get to do it a lot. It's part of the journey from head to heart. And so often our society tells us, you know, when you reach the end of your rope, tie a knot in it and hang on, right? I mean, Abraham Lincoln said that. Franklin Roosevelt said that. These are wise people, and there's truth to it. It's all about finding that balance between letting go and holding on, right? Knowing when to do which, and we'll get to that. But honoring that, holding on, we're going to set that aside for another month and focus on the letting go side of it. But I just wanted to acknowledge that there is the other piece, there is the other side to it. So the thing we want to hold on to, the knot we want to tie, to hang on to, that's our big why. Victor Hugo and Nietzsche, Friedrich Nietzsche, both acknowledged that people who know their big, you know, why are they alive, that they have their big why, they can endure anything. Victor Hugo saw that in the concentration camps, that those who knew their why could survive anything. That's the knot to hang on to. The knots to let go when we all get all wadded up in a knot, frayed and frazzled, when you're afraid not. The challenge is to hear the angel and become untangled and become afraid not. Be not afraid. Let go of the fear. So the letting go is about that transformation from being afraid not to being afraid not. And that's where we're focusing our energy today. Charles Fillmore, co-founder of Unity, said, "We must learn to let go, to give up, to make room for the things that we have prayed for and desired." And all of the other Unity speakers and teachers have spoken at this at length about, you know, you have to attune with the answer to the prayer, not the problem of the prayer, right? Einstein said that the solution is not found at the same level as the problem. We have to raise our frequency to the next level. Does anybody know how to catch a monkey? Yeah. You put a banana in a jar, or in a jar with a tight opening, and the hand goes in easily, and they can grab hold of it, but then they can't pull out their hand. And as long as the container is anchored securely, the monkey is unharmed, but completely trapped because it will not let go. Anybody resemble that remark? I know I certainly do. And you go, okay, so what are these bananas that we're not letting go of? What are the things that we're not letting go of? Or what are the things that our life would be better if we did let go of? The short answer is any limitation, anything that's no longer serving you, anything that's not of love or compassion. Letting go of any of that will improve your life. So let's look at some of those in more detail. Okay, so letting go of thoughts that yield anxiety, worry, shame, blame, or negativity. Make sense? Good things to let go, right? We know that thoughts are vibration, and vibration put out will draw to it matching vibrations. Third unity principle, law of attraction, all those sorts of things. Sounds familiar, right? Okay, letting go of resentment. Resentment. That's feeling the same thing over and over and over. Habits that are not helpful. Caring what other people think. Caring what other people think. It's not something we can control. Trying to control it is just not helpful because you're not going to get anywhere with it. It's a no-win situation. You don't like to be controlled. You can't control other people. Byron Katie has a great expression. She said, "It's not your job to like me. That's my job." So when we can get past that, caring what other people think, it is so freeing, right? Intellectually, we know that. Okay, so needing the past to be different. That's that forgiveness is giving up all hope of having a perfect past. Nice in theory, sometimes a little trickier to do, but when we need something in the past to be different, again, there's no win situation because you can't change the past. Living life in this timeline, it's a forward thing. Clutter, letting go of clutter. When we let go of the stuff that hides the stuff that's important to us, and that's clutter, both physical clutter, you know, in your closets and drawers. None of us have any of that, right? Okay, so good. It's also the clutter of the mind, and it's also the clutter in our daytimers. The things that fill up our time with the shoulds and the busy stuff that squeezes out the stuff that's important to us. When we can let go of the things that don't matter, suddenly the things that are important are more evident, and we can put more energy to them and receive more energy from them. The need to be right. Letting go of the need to be right. You want to be right or you want to be happy? You can't always have both. Needing to control others. That's an expanded version of caring what other people think. We can't control other people. The only person we can control is ourselves and our reaction or our response to other people. When we let go of trying to control other people, again, it frees up our energy. When we let other people control us by saying, I can't be happy unless you do something different, or unless you're not this, or unless this outside condition changes. When we do that, we've handed our power over to whatever that other thing is. Be it person, government, situation, circumstance, bank account, whatever. We claim our power when we go, I can be happy anyway. When we let go of the need to know why. There are so many things that appear unfair. There are so many things that we want to know, like, why? Ever ask the question, why me? Or why this? Or why that? Getting hung up on that kind of a why is never helpful. Why is it never helpful? Because it's focused on the problem. Remember what we said about the frequency of the problem will just draw more of the problem? That's where the problem lives. The solution is not going to come from answering the question of why. The shoulds, letting go of the shoulds. And there's all kinds of shoulds. It's just not nice to should on ourselves or anybody else. Okay? Shoulds come in the form of what society tells us we should want, should do, whatever. You're familiar with those. They come in the form of what our parents told us, what we were taught as kids. They come in the form of what theology has taught us, what our spiritual upbringing has taught us. And shoulds inevitably go against the truth of our being. Because if they went with the truth of our being, it wouldn't be a should. It would be an I get to. It would be in alignment with your desire. So when we can get past the shoulds, let go of the shoulds, And if there's a should you think you should be turned into a desire, then get on with making that transformation so that you're doing it from a space of wanting to, a space of getting to, a space of being allowed. Like, yes, I can. Do you feel how much one is all resistance and the other is all allowing, right? Feel the difference between those things? So yeah, we should let go of the shoulds, right? Sure. Okay, house, the cursed house. There's my business, God's business, and other people's business. House all fall under God's business. We're co-creators. We get to co-create what we want. It's our job to discern and choose what we want. It's our job to look at what we're seeing around us and go, yes, more please, or no thanks, something different. Ours is not to figure out the hows. Ours is to take action when the hows become apparent. But it's not to get hung up on the cursed hows. My story. Letting go of our stories that don't work for us. And this is a tricky one because our stories are also a large part of us, right? And the trick isn't necessarily to give up our stories, because owning our story can be a big part of who we are. The trick is deciding what our story is and making it conscious. Rejecting and pushing away parts of our story that we don't like, the parts that are uncomfortable, the parts that are painful, the parts that we don't want to admit, all of those sorts of things. The greatest blessings often lie behind them. So it's about letting go of the resistance to them. It's about reframing them into something that is supportive, something meaningful, something loving, something that we grew from. And we get to decide what parts we're letting go of. The unhelpful habits. We all have the sugar addiction or the cigarettes. Quitting cigarettes, oh, easy, done it thousands of times, right? Okay, or sugar. Yeah, sure. Attachment to outcome. Attachment to the known. Another great thing to let go. If you want to cross the ocean, you have to let go of the shore. If you're swinging on a trapeze, you have to let go of the one you're on to reach for the next one if you have a hope of catching it. And whether that's making the leap for a moving location, or whether it's a leap in a relationship, or whether it's a leap in career, there's letting go of the known to embrace the unknown and trusting that process, trusting that something will catch us. And whether that something is a safety net provided by Spirit, whether it's the new trapeze, or whether we learn to fly and have wings, trusting that something will be there. Okay, top 10 to Zen, and I apologize if this is too small to read, but I thought the image was so cute I wanted to include it. So letting go of comparing, letting go of competing, letting go of judgments, those things you'll all find abundantly in social media. Taking the time to discern, what's serving me here and what's, unhealthy. That mindfulness, right? Mindful compassion for ourselves. Letting go of anger, regrets, worrying, blame, guilt, fear. Those are all things that I've sort of already alluded to or covered. And then it says, have a proper belly laugh at least once a day. Especially if it's your inability to let go of any of the above. Not taking ourselves too seriously, letting go of being serious, lightening up. So let go of the banana. That's all we have to do, right? Just let go. So let's say that together. Let go of the banana. Whatever the banana is for us, whatever is trapping us, whatever we are, and recognizing we have the power to do that at all times, right? Nobody else is holding the banana. Our fist is the one holding the banana. We have the power to let go. So why is it we feel trapped? And I don't know about these two monkeys here. I don't know if you can see that. The one is saying, I'm not letting go. You know, I'm invested in my story, I'm invested in this limitation, this is the fact, this is, you know, you can't argue with facts. And the fact of the matter is that facts are really agreed upon opinion. That's it. We have the power to choose what the facts mean for us. And then you have the other monkey that goes, man, I already let go of that. Have you ever been in that situation? Resentments. And, you know, communities like, positive communities like unity communities, this is one of the potholes in our spiritual path. You know, every spiritual path has its potholes of metaphysical malpractice. Where the need to be okay and the need to be positive, we can try to do the spiritual whitewash, the spiritual bypass of, you know, I already let go, I forgive everything, I've already done, I'm so spiritual, I've forgiven it, I've let it all go. And then next thing you know, the head nattering or the, what's happening, right? Am I the only one that goes there? We see it around us, right? And we, you know, in the mirror. So recognizing that this is really simple, but it's not easy. It's part of the spiritual journey, this whole letting go thing. And you go, okay, so simple, not easy. What are the tools? How do we do it? It's easy to say, yeah, let it go. Tougher to do it. Okay, so how do we do it? First of all, when you find yourself in a hole, quit digging. When you recognize that it's not working, you know, look at the recognition that to do the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result, is the definition of being crazy. So it's looking for a different approach. It's taking the time to stand back and pause, and whether that's going to meditation or going for a walk or chopping wood, to each his own, right? But it's whatever it takes to separate you from the problem so that you are open to a different solution. Let go and let God. Now, Paul Hasselbeck, if anybody here is familiar with him, he's down at Unity Village. He's a great author, teacher, speaker, unity minister. And he rejects this term outright. It has nothing to, it's one of those embedded theology things that he works very hard against. And what his problem with it is the idea of let go and let God suggests that there's some being outside that you can surrender all your problems to and they'll just fix it, right? And that's, of course, not the way it works. The God that this affirmation is talking about is that higher self within, that higher frequency within, that creative source energy of which we are all a part, that when we call upon it, can transform, can strengthen, can encourage, can forgive, can heal, can bring us back to wholeness. Whatever piece is lacking that has taken us away from wholeness, it is the correction. So that let go and let God, that is when we stop paddling upstream and allow Spirit to turn our boat around and go downstream to well-being. Forgiveness, self-compassion, all pieces of it, right? Letting go, letting God, by whatever version of that works for you. Don't get hung up on the semantics. Having self-compassion, having compassion for others in the process. Again, that stop trying to paddle upstream. Allow the current to turn us around and carry us forward. Pain in life is inevitable. Welcome to planet Earth, where you two have physical form and we get to experience contrast. Get over it. And while pain is inevitable, suffering is optional. Resistance is the suffering. When we resist things, when we don't accept the isness of something, that resistance times the pain is what causes the suffering, or what is the suffering. Suffering equals pain times resistance. When we can let go of the resistance to embrace whatever the pain is, and anybody who has been able to who has had the blessing of severe pain where you have been able to step back from it into an observer space and just sit with it, just be with it, have compassion for it, you know that the suffering part goes away. Yes, it still hurts, but not the way it did before. Buried emotions don't die. Again, that pothole in the positive community thing. When we, paint a smile over everything, pretend that it's all okay, pretend that we're okay. Here's a big news flash for you. It's okay to not be okay. When we allow ourselves to feel our pain, to feel our discomfort, when we allow ourselves the freedom to grieve, and not just to say, oh yes, grief is a part of life and a part of the process, tick, done, moving on, but to really honor it, to feel it, to heal it. It erodes spaces in us for greater joy. And no, it's not comfortable. But there are such rich blessings in it when we allow it. For anyone who has ever been to the space of depression to the point of suicide, you may have come to the realization that reclaiming your power by saying, I can end it all in 10 minutes, by taking the power over your own life and death, you know that deciding and choosing what to do in the next 10 minutes to make it the most valuable, rich, and meaningful you can be that step up to saying, okay, well, I can end it all in an hour, or I can end it all tomorrow. And to someone who has never been in that space, that probably sounds crazy. But if you have been in that space, you know that there's some strange power in it, in being okay and not being okay. Why is it okay to not be okay? And it doesn't mean stay there. It means accept what is in the moment. Because you can grow from that point. If you're okay and not being okay, you're better than you were a minute ago when you weren't okay. And you go, that is really messed up logic. Maybe, but it's bringing your vibration up, and that's the path to healing. That's the call forward. That is the call to love. That is life speaking. That is life calling you forward. That is helping you let go. You trying to hold in buried emotions, they're like beach balls being held underwater. First, it takes an awful lot of energy to hold it down. And second, they have a nasty habit of popping to the surface in the most inconvenient times. Have you ever, known that there's a meltdown coming? And it's some stupid little thing that gets triggered? Way better to give yourself the safe space to have your meltdown and work it through than to pretend it's not happening. It's happening under the surface. That energy is there, and it's co-creating your next moment, and it will bring you an opportunity to bring it to the surface. Like it or not. Choosing and going consciously rather than kicking and screaming. Healing is the only option that is the end point. Because it's healing, because anything else is just going to bring you around to another opportunity to healing. Might as well get it over with. Forgiveness. To forgive is to set the prisoner free and discover that that prisoner was you. Myrtle Fillmore says, forgiveness is not silent consent, the negative appearance of making the best of a situation while underneath there is resentment. Forgiveness is not an excuse not to do anything. Forgiveness is that letting go of a perfect past for the opportunity to create something different. It is accepting what is, accepting where the problem has been, that frequency, and go acknowledging it as contrast and choosing a higher frequency, looking for solution, moving forward. Which brings us to the serenity prayer. I invite you to pray this prayer with me. Together, I accept the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. There is huge power in this prayer. This prayer is all about helping us to let go and knowing when. We don't want to be the person that abandons ship too soon. We don't want to be the person that abandons our dream. We want to know when to hold on, when to let go. And Spirit will always give us the hows. The big thing is to set intention. Oops. The big thing is to set our intention to say, I'm willing to be willing to let go. Higher self, Christ within, source, God, whatever universe, whatever word works for you, whatever name you have for that power within, calling it forth and say, I'm willing to be willing. And if you can't say I'm willing to be willing, then maybe I'm willing to be willing to be willing. Stepping back from the situation, however far you need to go, to give any little crack of light for Spirit to move. And Spirit will work with you there to carry you forward, to lift you up, to help you release one clutching finger at a time to set you free. There's the story of the man who had fallen off a cliff and he was hanging onto a branch, and it was late at night, so looking down he couldn't see how far from the ground he was. And he's desperate to, hanging on for dear life. And he's praying, help me, lift me up. And he hears this booming voice from above that says, let go. And he's going, is there anybody else up there? Sometimes we know when it is we need to let go. And we just can't, right? And so, anyway, as dawn comes, he sees better, and he's able to see that he's only a few inches from the trail below. Letting go was perfectly safe. And sometimes we have to let go without seeing. That trapeze example, when you're swinging back and forth on the trapeze, and sometimes the trapeze disappears out from under you. You lose a relationship, someone dies, you lose your job. Circumstances change in dramatic ways that, car accidents, health issues. The day after the day before, when the world changed, right? We've had those moments. And sometimes they're unexpected, which, usually then you take the moment of the why me. Give yourself that why me moment, but then move on. Recognize that that's not gonna carry you very far. Staying in that question. Going to the question of what's next, or where do I go from here? Those are more useful questions. What do I do with this? I forget who it was that said that her favorite expression was, I can't wait, Spirit, to see what you do with this. Because that's that surrender and letting go, but it's also the trust and faith that everything always works out for me. When there is only one power and one presence, and we're a part of it, and our thoughts are co-creative, we can look past the appearance of things and know to the core of our being that everything truly is okay beyond appearance. It's going through a bad neighborhood on your way to paradise. All of those analogies are there for us. And when we set intention to let go and trust Spirit, Spirit will give us the means to let go. and keep offering us new tools until we choose one. Keep throwing life preservers until we catch one. Or teach us how to swim. That is the wonderful power of life and spirit. And so with that, I invite you into meditation.
Surely the presence of love is in this place. I can feel its mighty power and its grace. I can hear the brush of angels' wings, see glory on each face. Surely the presence of love is in this place. Surely the presence of love is in this place. I can feel its mighty power and its grace. I can hear the brush of angels' wings, see glory on each face. Surely the presence of love is in this place.
So I invite you to rest and relax into the chair that is supporting you. To rest and relax into your heart. Breathing in the love of the divine presence. It is the one power and one presence, great creative source of all. Invite you from this space to turn inward even deeper, addressing that higher power within you. I invite you to let my words be your words. Creative source being, you know what is holding me back. You know where my resistances lie. You know what I have tried to let go of and what I'm still hanging on to. Holy Spirit, I'm willing to be willing to let go. I am open to being healed at death. I am open to understanding. I am open to the possibility of having deeper self-awareness and self-compassion. In these next few moments of silence, I invite you, Great Spirit, to inspire me, to reveal to me, to heal me, to grow me. divine love. I acknowledge that I have begun a process here that I am willing to trust, to unfold deeper well-being, joy, abundance, fulfillment. I give thanks for this awareness, for the gifts given and received today. I give thanks for the presence of the love in this room. And I carry it forward in loving gratitude. I release and let go of those things that I need to release and let go. I trust that process. I have compassion for myself and others as we go through this process of life. Again, in loving gratitude. Amen.
Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah,
Thank you, Sheila, for sharing an incredible amount of metaphysical truths for us here today to help us be in alignment and follow our soul's paths to completion. Thank you. Our unity principles teach us we are one with God, Source, and so we give not to Source, but as Source. Giving has been described as a spiritual practice of radical generosity, insofar as the intent is to be an extension of spirit. Tithing to what we wish to see flourish. Tithing as source is God in expression. At the back of the sanctuary you will find intention cards. These may also be placed in the offering bag. This week our prayer angels will uphold your intentions for what you want to achieve, either as a plan for your day or for your life. And now let us affirm our prosperity together by singing our offertory blessing.
Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And so in me. Well, Reverend Laurie's done it again. I mentioned, I think last week or the week before, about how often when Carl and I write original material for Unity, how often it comes from something Reverend Laurie said. And this is a new Unity London song. And she said, last week, she said to me, don't forget. Now, a month is about letting go. So if you can, if you get any ideas like that about songs, so just keep that in mind. Well, I couldn't get it out of my mind, and this is what happened.
He's out of his mind.
Yeah. Time passes in the game, either what we do or say, we face the future weight, just let it go. The weight you carry, let it go. The sense of fear, let it go. And trust in spirit, let it go. The water's high, cannot get dry. Look to the sky and say, there's a way I won't hesitate to let you wash away. Just let it go, the weight you carry, let it go. The sense of fear, let it go. And trust in spirit, let it go. Let it go, the weight you carry, let it go. The sense of fear, let it go. Trust in spirit, let it go. Let it go, trust in spirit, let it go. Let it go, and trust in spirit, let it go. Very much. What's the wisdom, right?
Let's bless our offering. God, we know that everything we have has come from you and belongs to you. We are thankful to give a portion of our financial abundance through our tithes and offerings to this spiritual community, which nourishes us so that we may be your light in the world. Thank you, God. Amen. And guess what? It's Celebration Sunday. Yeah. Okay, so if you have something that you're just absolutely joyful about, we would love it if you would share it with us. So come on up. And let's start with a song.
Celebrate the time, come on. Celebrate the time, come on.
I'd like to share in the celebration of Unity of York Region, who last week celebrated their 10th anniversary. Yes.
Speaking of anniversaries, there was a wedding yesterday. Not mine. My daughter got married yesterday, and she was the most beautiful, beautiful girl. Oh my goodness. Anyway, so I had the last week the joy of having my other daughter, my grandson, and my son-in-law over at my place in preparation for this wedding as well. And it just, you have no idea. It's just amazing. Anyway, I'm very happy about that stuff.
I think it comes as no surprise to any of us that Hilda's daughter is beautiful, because look at her mom.
True that. Well, I guess as everybody knows, it's approaching the end of June, and I've been working in a school, and it's almost over, and blessed be the day. And I am also studying, and really, I'm not done yet, so I'm celebrating for one and not the other yet. So wait till July something, you'll see me dancing more, okay? But also to just, I am, because of that, taking the summer off of everything and going to France and to Paris. A friend of mine, out of the blue, texted me 3 weeks ago, said, would you like to go to Paris? And it's my great uncle's celebration, 75th of the war, obviously. And so that in a small town south of Paris, in Basse-Val, and that I'm given the honor of sharing that with her, because twice that they were going to book this And her husband said, I don't have peace about this. And then they went to book it again, and they don't have peace. And then she texted me, and are you interested? And right away, because this is a true friend and a true blessing to me all my life for the 25 years that I've known her, I said, yes, I'm interested. Of course, I'm French. Why wouldn't I be? So here I'm going to celebrate this man, Norman Gale, who had passed away in the war in the plane. I can't remember the name of it anyway, but to Paris. So I'm just so excited. Thank you.
Celebrate good times, come on. Celebrate good times, come on.
I'm laughing, I'm sorry, I apologize. Do you still want me to do the, we didn't do the Mexican thing.
That's next week.
Mentioned it today. We didn't.
Next
Well,
week.
that's okay. Well, then we have no problems at all. Then
Okay, everybody, let's sing our peace song.
peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as creator, family all are we. Let's walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace be near with thee, let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my solemn vow, to take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
And this week, every time you reach for a banana and you start to peel it, you say to yourself, I am a beautiful, delicious banana, and I am peeling away all the rough exterior so that I can be more aligned with spirit. And now our prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds us, the love of God enfolds us, the power of God protects us, and the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Yay, God!
Reverend Lori left a request of all of us today for this tune, because I told her we're going to end the service with this, and she said, do me a favor, would you please, and do the, some weeks ago you did it where you sang the beginning really slowly and nicely because the words are so beautiful, and then let people know that when you get a couple of verses in, then everybody can sing together. So those are my instructions from Rev. Lori, and I'm not about to disobey them. Is that right?
That's right, all right. Right on.
There was a time in my life I thought I'd have to do it all for myself. Didn't know the grace of God was sufficient. Didn't know the love of God was at hand. Now I can say if you are discouraged, struggling through to make it through another day, you've gotta let go, let it all go, and this is what you have to say. I release and I go, the Spirit of my life, and my heart is open wide, 'cause I'm only here for God. No more trouble, no more strife. If I faith, I see the light. I am free in the spirit, as I'm only here for God. I release and I let go, let the fear in my life. And my heart is open wide, as I'm only here for God. No more trouble, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the spirit, as I'm only here for God.
Thank you.